And of course, you spoke about how in '98 you made Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. That was your first film as a director. Huge success, but I think it's harder to sustain success. And thereafter, you made K3G with like every big movie star there was at the time, right? I mean, Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan, Hrithik Roshan, all rolled into one particular film. What I'm keen to know, Karan, if you were to make your debut as a director in the year 2022, what kind of a film or what kind of project would you go up with? Because is it the same world anymore?
It may not be, but I'm not making anything different just now.
Okay.
So, I'm making a film called Rocky or Rani Ki Prem Kahani. How much do you think I've really progressed from Kuch Kuch Hota Hai? It's a love story. It has family. It has Ranveer. It has movie stars. It has Ranveer Singh and Alia Bhatt, and of course, supremely talented senior members of the film fraternity, Jaya ji and Shabana ji and Dharam ji and all in the movie. I think I'm going back to the same world. I did go through phases of I would say evolution, perhaps, as a filmmaker, because at one point I wanted to tell a story of extreme dark infidelity. I wanted to tell a socially relevant film like My Name Is Khan. I've also made a film on complex human relationships with Aidil. But there came a time right during the pandemic, I think, is when I felt like I just needed to make a movie that made me feel like I was 25 again. Right. And when I was 25, the only movie I could think of or make was Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, because it was like an accumulation of all the movies that I'd grown up watching. And it's a homage to Raj Kapoor or Yash Chopra, Suraj Barjatya, like all my influences growing up watching movies. And I think that's what I'm doing with Rocky or Rani. I'm just going back because I think we are all trying very hard to break the mold, to tear the envelope, cross cinematic boundaries. We're trying as filmmakers, as producers, as content creators. But then we also have forgotten that there was an innocence and a purity to what we're known as. The quintessential Bollywood film,
movie, right.
Which has its heart on its sleeve, which has its songs on your lip, which has a dance for no reason, which has theatrics and drama that possibly don't seem real. But I was like, let's do it again.
Right. Well, the reason I'm also asking you this question is because, let's say, when you made K3G back in 2001, if someone told you that a Batman is releasing, okay, or Jungle Book is releasing, or Spider-Man is releasing, you wouldn't have cared about it, right? It could come in a theater and go for all you care, because there is this whole Bollywood film and there is a Bollywood audience. But now, say in 2021, the biggest film in India was Spider-Man. There's this Hollywood that you have to contend with also.
Absolutely. If we purely speak Hindi film industry, we're not competing, but I want to say, because competing would be giving it a negative connotation. Right. I think we're being inspired every week by not just Hollywood. Within the parameters of our great nation, we have films coming from the South film fraternity that are absolutely killing the box. Look at the numbers of RRR as we speak.
So 20 crore on day one.
Rajamouli is clearly the biggest Indian filmmaker today. And there is no one who can take that mantle away from him. He's enormous. He's gigantic, just like his brand is, as are his movies. Not just Batman or Spider-Man or now Avatar that will come in December. Right. These are all massive cinematic spectacles. But within when we used to first call our cinema, crossover cinema, invariably I have to say, when you really cross, it's all over, because it's like it's not really doing very much for you here. You're just crossing over.
Right.
But the real true crossover is within the boundaries of our country, when the film cinemas from not only Telugu but Tamil, Malayalam cinema, Kannada cinema, the digital explosion has exposed all this great content to viewers across the nation. Look at these numbers. They're massive. And Hindi, Pushpa has just released to massive success. Allu Arjun is a household name today. Everyone is dancing to those songs. They're dancing to the Telugu songs. They're dancing like in the north to the tunes from the south. That is immensely amazing, and that is what I call true crossover. So when you say the Hindi film industry is competing, I say we're being inspired on a weekly basis by the film industry from the south, by what is happening in Hollywood, by what's happening digitally. Everyone is kind of coming all together. So we've got to completely watch what we do at every step, because we were at one point Bollywood is and was globally known, as this brand. But the origin of that is the Hindi film industry, but it's no longer that. And Rajamouli, in his own words, has said that we should call it the Indian film industry now, because it's all about that. We should stop addressing it as Bollywood, because that is that is a term of the past now. We have to say Indian, because if a Malayalam film is being loved the way it is, if a Telugu film is doing these theatrical numbers, if a Tamil film is being remade as we speak, if a Kannada film which is releasing now, KGF, which is going to open huge, what are we talking about? We're talking about the Indian movies, the Indian film industry. It's no longer Hindi or Bollywood or Tollywood or Collywood or all these terms we are given. We have to proudly walk the talk as Indian cinema.
Well, the CEO of your company, Apurva, he says that actually there aren't that many filmmakers in Bombay blessed with that level of finesse to reach out to such massive audiences as we've learned from the South. Would you agree with him?
The thing is, yes, I find the level, I find what happens is, and I'm saying this, I'm putting myself in the same bracket when I say this. All of us in Hindi cinema, I feel sometimes fall prey to what I call herd mentality.